Tuesday, December 13th, Advisory Commission on Marine Resources. We'll start out with the Pledge of Allegiance, and I guess I will, next we have a moment of silence.
I'll do a prayer.
Yes, sir, please.
Yeah, all right. Before we go to the prayer, though, just want to bring up a couple of things. One of our members, Russell Weatherly, his daughter had a severe accident the other day, headed back to Mississippi State, and she's in ICU in Jackson right now. And we'd ask you to keep her in your prayers, and that we could also we want to remember Coach Leach and Coach Leach's family. You know, we had a tremendous tragedy that happened over the weekend with him, and we just want everyone in the Mississippi State world to know that we're all with you. And Coach, rest in peace. Let's go to the prayer, please. Lord, I ask you to just take this commission, Lord, and use it the way you would have them to do. Give us the wisdom and give them the wisdom to do the things you would have done. Lord, we thank you for the opportunity to serve, and we thank you for this great opportunity to be able to have a Department of Marine Resources. We ask you to just lead and guide and direct us. That's in Jesus Christ's name. Amen.
All right, we have to skip over the approval of the minutes today, and along with the agenda as well. And we're going to go right into the director's report. Dragon?
Okay. All right. That's the employment. We have something up there? Maybe so, maybe not.
I'll skip some.
Joshua Waters is promoted as the only thing we have on this, Environmental Natural Resource Specialist 3 for Marine Fisheries. So that's the only thing in employment. And, okay. Then any contracts, we're working on contracts right now on a couple of things, but we have nothing to update at this time. As far as the agency update goes, we had a legislative forum last week, and it was a good forum. We got to had I think 10 of the legislators from the coast here out of the 18. So that was a very good able to brief them and understand what we're doing. We talked about 4 or 5 different parts of legislation that we're looking at that may bring up in the next session coming up in January. And most of them are basically just clarifying some stuff and getting the language right in it. But a couple of things that we're working on. One is one of the major things that we're working on is the on-bottom fishing lease, oyster leases. So we're working on that. We're trying to get something done with it, and I think that will be the one that will be the biggest bill that we do this year. The rest of them, we're doing some things like trying to change the law where if everybody on a crab boat doesn't have to have crab license, just a boat, and make it to where it's basically the same as if you had oysters or shrimp, to make it line up with that. We got a couple other things that we're changing, some wording, ability for our law enforcement, some things that the wording on it to be able to change the wording to get it correctly. I'm trying to think of the other one. Let's see, which one? Rick, do you remember? Huh? Oh, marina. Yeah, definition of marina. And, basically it's by NOAA and EPA, it's 10 or less boats is not considered a marina, but 10 or more is. More than 10 is, and we're trying to get that straightened out. Everybody will be grandfathered that are in now, so it's not something that's going to be a big effect, okay? But I'm sure there's something else I missed in there but it's nothing major. We just the big thing's going to be the on bottom. All right, as far as oyster deployment, we had 925 sacks of oysters that we had purchased. That was in pretty good size oysters. I mean, they were a good deal that we were able to get from SPAC-TAC, and they finished that deployment yesterday. So we have all of those oysters in the water, and hopefully that'll work in a perfect time for being able to set for the next year for the spring, and that'll be a good deal for us. And we deployed those in several different locations and not just one. So most of them were in the Western Gulf, though. That's where we had them. So update on derelict vessels. We had a total of 71 cases that have been turned in to us of derelict vessels. Out of that, 51 of them have been removed since July the 1st. 18 are pending removal, and 2 we've received court orders to remove. And so one of the issues we had in Gulfport Lake, there was 5 vessels there. It's clear. We have it done, and it's a great deal. I think that the team has done a fantastic job, and I appreciate every one of them for working hard to be able to do that. To get 51 vessels moved in this short amount of time is, I think, a very, very great operation that's happened there. So I thank Patrick and Roy and the ones that's worked on that. And of course, our great lawyers have been right in the middle of this, and we appreciate that very much. And so they've been, I don't think they've lost a case yet, have you?
Undefeated still.
Undefeated. All right. So we'll keep working on it. We're going to continue this. This is not something that's just going to happen one time. And we're going to continue to be able to do this. The legislature's more than glad to, fund us to do it. And so we will continue to be able to get vessels out. We have some issues. One of the things that brought to me yesterday, and Patrick's working on that. If you have a fiberglass boat and you want to dispose of it, how do you dispose of it? Because most of the places that you want to take it to dispose, they'll tell you they're not taking them. We don't take fiberglass. So we got to find a way to do something. We got to come up with a way to do something for that and be able to dispose of it. We ought to be able to grind it some way or something into powder. And there ought to be some way that we can do something with it. So we're going to work on that. All right. Let's see. What else am I missing in here? DMR will be closed on Christmas, for Christmas on Friday the 23rd and Monday the 26th, and will be closed on the day after New Year's on January the 2nd. We had our annual Christmas party this past week and this week, and it's last week, right? Last Friday, and it was a very good turnout from a lot of people. Our former director showed up, Jamie Miller, so we was able to have Jamie here, and we had a good time, and it was a lot of good times had by a lot of people. Too much food to eat, but it was a lot of great times. But I'll go tomorrow. I'm going to leave, and Thursday I got a meeting with the governor, and we'll be discussing anything that we're going to do in the legislative session as far as DMR and other parts of the agencies. And other than that, I think that that covers basically the update for the agency. Now, USDA processor grant, we're 100%. It's paid out, right? $1.6 million paid, right? Paid out. Great deal. Tracy, thank y'all. And, great job y'all did for that. We appreciate it. And we don't have any update on the Bonnie Carey. It's still sitting at the OMB. So I don't expect anything to come out of there after January because the holidays and what's going on. I did speak with Janet Court 2 or 3 times with her about this over the last month or so, and talked about what the situation was and she's the head of NOAA Fisheries, and she agrees with me it's broke and it needs to be fixed. And so hopefully we'll get something done with this, and they're working on it very hard. Any actions, updates from the prior meeting? We can go over them, but can't vote, right?
You don't vote on these anyway. It's just for informational purposes. At the November meeting, the commission recommended and the director approved the following motions. Requested variance, use plan change, and permit requested by DMR Beneficial Use Program to fill 900 acres of unvegetated water bottoms to construct a beneficial use site in the Mississippi Sound, approximately 7 miles south of Pass Christian and 5.5 miles west of the western tip of Cat Island. And then the commission also approved a state saltwater finfish record for all tackle for dog snapper, 24 pounds, 2.4 ounces for Mark Kleinpeter. And that was it. Okay.
And I do apologize that I'm not sure what happened with Commissioner Daniels, but we'll find out. But today we can only we can go through the process of the whole meeting, but any motions will have to be deferred till the next meeting. Okay, so understand that, sir. That's all I have.
Thank you, Director. Anything to report, Commissioner?
No, I just want to reiterate my thanks to the team about getting those USDA processor grants out so quickly. It was a great benefit to the local industry.
Thank you. There's still some snapper out there. I was fortunate enough to sneak out yesterday, and some good sized snapper. They're out there, so we got a few days left. If you can fight the fog, I'd suggest trying to make it out. Chief Wilkerson, Marine Patrol report.
It's a soft touch. I say good morning. I'm going to fill in for Chief. Good morning, everyone. I trust everyone's enjoying the holiday season. I've had a chance to look over the commission report that was uploaded. You'll notice that everything seems pretty much in line. Recreational traffic and commercial traffic stayed pretty consistent. We were blessed with some pretty good weather. And like you mentioned, the snapper season is still going strong. Happy to report there were 0 water fatalities for the month of November. So that was good on our part. Any questions? All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Captain Strickland. Moving on to Office of Coastal Resources Management, Jennifer Whitman. Jennifer's okay. Jennifer Wilder. Okay.
The project location is at 439 First Avenue, which is on St. Louis Bay and adjacent to Molini Bayou in Harrison County, and it's in the general use district. They're requesting to build a 90-foot jetty. This is actually a historical jetty. There's been one on the property for as many years as anyone in the family can remember, but it failed and they removed it, not realizing that that would complicate the permitting process. So here's the location. You can see the yellow thumbtack, Highway 90 and Molini Bayou in the picture. So this is a diagram of what they want to construct. It is actually adjacent to the Harrison County jetty that is 75 feet at present. They were permitted for 125 feet, but because of some financial issues did not build it that far, and that is why the Fitzpatrick family would like to come in and build this jetty to restore the beach that they've always had in front of their property. But as a secondary impact, it will also help with the sand drifting into Molini Bayou. This is a picture from the property. You can see Harrison County's jetty there and the Fitzpatrick's bulkhead. The proposed project is allowable within the general use district. They're requesting a variance to the coastal program stating that groins and jetties to trap sediments are only allowed as a means to reduce shoaling of navigable channels and boat basins. And they're justifying that by saying that the variance, building the jetty would cause the environment to be no worse than if the guidelines were followed. Now, we're allowing that to be as the justification because it is a reconstruction of a historic jetty. A sediment transport study has been done on this area of beach, and an engineer has said that there'll be no negative effects. And Harrison County has signed off and supports the project. Notification of the project appeared in the Sun Herald as required by law, and we received no public comments. DEQ and Wildlife Fisheries and Parks submitted no comments, and Department of Archives and History and Secretary of State had no objections to the project. So the staff recommends that a motion to the commission, that the commissioners recommend to the executive director to approve the requested variance and approve the permit as requested. Do y'all have any questions? Ms. Laracini is here and is prepared to speak on behalf of her family, if y'all would like to hear her comments.
I would think so. The
Okay.
applicant
She
has it.
actually traveled from Lafayette today, so.
Good morning. First, I want to acknowledge both Jennifer Wilder and Miss Willa Brantley for their assistance in this process. I'm a nurse. I don't know a whole lot about this, but I'm learning. My parents bought this location after Hurricane Camille. My dad had a sister here in Pass Christian, and in 1974 they moved over full time. And my father was an excellent steward to the land. He understood waterways, and he worked real hard to keep the land from eroding. And I'm the executor of their estate. And so this action will be my one last action to really put it back the way it was. So if you have any questions, I'm here to answer them. In terms of the jetty being removed, in 2014, when the rock jetty went in, I have a document here that indicated the existing dilapidated wooden jetty to the south will be rebuilt using riprap and will extend no farther into Bay St. Louis than it does now. It was 125 feet. That's the jetty that they had to scale down because of some protected wetlands, and they had to put money into building a bulkhead a little bit more north of the bayou. And I was busy taking care of my mother at the time, but my brother-in-law was in conversation with the group who were intending to put this jetty in, and they indicated it would essentially do the same thing. And we found that it hasn't. And the south end of Malini Bayou is silting in, and we no longer can haul our kayaks out or have a beach, or we're dealing with erosion in that corner of the land right now. So I'm hoping this will be a win-win for the county. I'll feel like I've done my job as an executor and honored my parents in this way. And it's a real privilege to be in this position. My mom was born in Columbus, Mississippi. She was thrilled to move back. Following Katrina, she lived in Lafayette and near me until my dad died, and then she moved back, albeit to Dunbar Nursing Home, but she wanted to be back in her beloved Mississippi. And I just feel like this is something I need to see to the end. So my siblings could not be here today. One has COVID, the other had a medical appointment, but I never complain about having to come. I'm thrilled to come and spend time here. Any questions for me?
Got one question. It says that the looks like 20-foot pilings are going to be 5 foot on center on each side of the jetty. Was I reading that correctly?
Oh boy. Well, Lemuel Construction, actually the picture she showed, it looks so much better now because Lemuel completed our pier, which was permitted. We lost it in Hurricane Zeta, and that was a pier that was there since Hurricane Katrina.
I think it's a good, to have the pilings on both sides. A boat's going to much rather hit a piling than, tear their lower units up on a rock jetty. So,
Well, the bayou will be on the rock jetty side. It would be hard for a boat to hit that, I would think. But hopefully.
it'll be on the existing side, or the other side of the
It's
existing
going to be
jetty?
the south side,
Oh,
the
okay, so
south
it's a
side
total
of the
separate-
rock jetty.
Okay, I got you.
Other than the 15 feet that hers will be longer than the county's,
Right.
it is all south of the county's jetty.
Okay, I understand. Okay. Gotcha. Thank you. I don't have any. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you. Only other question, I think you've already told me, Willa, that nobody's objecting to this in the,
We have received no comments.
yeah, so but we can look at this and try to bring it up on the January meeting. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you. Finance and Administration, Ms. Leslie.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Leslie Brewer, CFO. I'll be presenting the financials for November 30th, 2022. The state revenue at the end of the month was $4.3 million. The agency revenue, $17.2. State net income is $1.5, and agency net income is $5.9 million. After 5 months of fiscal year 23, we have operating funds at 92.1% of budget, and Tidelands is at 87.4%. Does anyone have any questions?
No, ma'am. Thank you.
Thanks.
Ms. Charmaine, Public Affairs.
Good morning. The Mississippi Department of Marine Resources had 6 media mentions since the November MACMR meeting. News items included the extension of the gear reimbursement program for turtle excluder devices, last month's fish record, and off-bottom oysters in Mississippi. Marine Patrol participated in College and Career Day at Van Cleve High School on November 15th and Safety Day at East Central Middle School on November 18th. Both Marine Patrol and the Artificial Reef Bureau each took part in Pathways to Possibilities on November 16th and 17th. Marine Patrol were stationed in the Law and Public Safety Pathway, and the Artificial Reef Bureau had their booth in the Marine Science Pathway. The 2-day event had thousands of students participate from throughout the southern part of the state. On November 17th, the Invasive Species Program and Coastal Resources Management took part in Homeschool Day on Biodiversity at the Mississippi Aquarium. At the event, they educated participants on the invasive species found on our coast. On November 19th, the agency sponsored seafood at Gumbo Fest in Gulfport. Also, the Office of Public Affairs provided a booth in the kids area at the festival. We provided informational materials and brought a game for kids to play. Also, our marine information calendars have been delivered, so we are working on getting those out to the distribution sites and bait camps this week and next week. I also put some in the back of the room, and we have them in our licensing office and the front desk at the Bolton building.
That's a lot going on.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right. I think we're going to go ahead and have the finfish record come up, Tommy or Trevor.
Morning, Commissioners, Director. We've got one state record for y'all's consideration, and I guess we'll move it to January to vote on for approval. It is a scrawled filefish, Aluteris scriptus. The old record was 4.8 ounces. The new record is 3 pounds, 2.45 ounces. Angler's Mr. Tommy Phelps. It's a picture of the fish. Picture of Tommy with the fish. And we'll make that motion next month. And then the next item on the agenda is an update for red snapper. So as of yesterday, we're sitting around 130,000 pounds harvested, right around 85% of the ACL. There's still some left. That season will close likely at the end of the year. So we'll make it all the way through. And Commissioner, you mentioned that you're able to get out and catch a few fish, and that's exactly what we've been seeing for the last 2 weeks. We've had folks go out, and our, catch per angler has increased all the way up to 1.5, 1.6 fish per person, which is a fantastic number to be at and where we like to see it. The proposal that I had described to you all, I believe 2 months ago, for an updated calibration where we use 2018 through 2020 and remove wave 5. We submitted that letter to CIRO and the Gulf Council. It will be presented to the Gulf Council SSC in January, where it will be, discussed and voted on and either voted for or approved or altered or anything else. So we'll see where the discussion goes and see what comes out of it. And then it'll go to the council that February. So that proposal is for 109,000 pounds for our state. We think it's a fair compromise. We think it's where we should be. And hopefully everyone else sees it the same way. So we'll see what happens in January.
Trevor, now the calibration will come out. I think they put it out at, what is it, 50-something thousand is what we'll go to?
Yes, it's right at 60,000 pounds.
And, but that's supposed to start January the 1st.
Right.
We will probably not start unless something changes that I don't know. Normally it'll be Memorial Day weekend.
Mm-hmm.
It's when we'll start the snapper season for next year. And hopefully that what we're going to do is be able to work this through the SSC that Trevor's a part of, and work through the SSC and be able to bring it back to the council and get the council to vote to change the numbers to roughly 109,000 pounds. So don't get alarmed when you see the 58 or whatever the number is, 60. Let's give us a chance and let's see what we can do. And because I think that we can definitely get there. And if you look at what we're doing right now, we're all the way to December, end of December.
Yep.
And we hadn't caught the 151,000 yet. So it tells you that I think that we can compromise some, and we'll work at that. And so just wanted to let you know that Trevor's working hard for us up there. He fights for us on the SSC, and we're lucky to have him there, and we appreciate it. And me and Rick are working on the council, trying to get things done there. So just give us a chance before you get too upset about it, all right?
Yeah, and just to mention, we've got additional conservation measures that are listed within the proposal, such as fixed seasons and potentials for introduction of harvest control rules based on what we observe in the fishery. And all that's just to describe how good the Tails and Scales program has performed and how good of a hold we have on the fishery to be able to try to introduce some of these concepts and take a further step than what's been done in this fishery in decades. So we're trying hard. We'll just see
You know you
how
are.
it goes in January.
Man, we're lucky to have you guys fighting for us on this, representing us for this snapper situation. It's a tough deal over the last couple of years. So thank you, everyone. Well, that's that's it. Do we have anything else? Any other business?
Only thing I'd like to do is wish everybody a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. We'll see you next year sometime, I hope. And please don't forget to keep the families in your prayers, and especially Coach Leach and his family, and also with Russell and his family.
Thank you, Director. We'll close this meeting of December 13th. Thank you. Appreciate it.